Weddings are a great time to connect with family and friends, so today I'm going to show you how to create wedding invitations in no time at all. So the wedding invitation we're creating today, we're actually going with like a vintage feel. We're using some craft cardstock, some rubber stamps, ribbon, and then also little surprises inside. We're using black and white photos, and then you'll print all of your details on some pearlescent paper. So let's get started with the outside. So to start with, we're using the Hearts rubber stamps by Darkroom Door. In this set, there's a wide range of different hearts. We're actually using this one here, which is a flourish script heart. So I'm just going to place both of these stamps on the acrylic block at the same time, which means you can then stamp them together at the same time. So I'm using a Distress embossing ink. This is just a clear embossing ink. Now I'm just doing one, but if you were going to obviously mass produce these, because these are your weddings invitations, you would stamp them all out and emboss them all at the same time and just make a big production line of it. This is where you get your family and friends all involved. So I'm just stamping that just on white cardstock. You can just faintly see the embossing ink on there. Now I'm using a gold embossing powder. And we're just going to pour on some of the embossing powder and then tap off any excess, just like that. And then with all your leftover embossing powder, just pour that back into your jar. Now, if you were going to, or if you found that was too time consuming each time, you could actually pour the embossing powder into a tray, like just a plastic tray, and then just put your paper through the embossing powder, which makes it a lot quicker. So then just using a heat tool, we're just now going to set the embossing powder. When you're using a heat tool, just make sure you're just, an inch or two above your stamped piece of artwork. And you'll notice when the embossing powder starts to melt, this particular embossing powder will actually go a little bit shiny. I don't know if you can see that there on screen, but you'll see that the embossing powder is just starting to change from a dull powder now to a shiny set piece of embossing powder. So now we have our little stamped hearts. We just need to trim these out so we can place them onto our invites. Now when you're mass producing a set of invitations, one thing I like or prefer to do is actually do each step as a whole, rather than making the whole invitation all the way through at once. It is much easier to do all of your stamping. So, say you were doing 30 or 50 or 100 invitations, do all of the stamping first, and then do all the cutting next, and then assembling it all in its own little portion, rather than doing it all individually. We've got our gold hearts, but first what we're going to use is a little piece of ribbon. So I've folded down our craft cardstock, and I'm just going to place the ribbon underneath the top flap like this. Then just going to fold that around. Now with our hearts, we're just going to stick that onto the side there, just using a bit of foam adhesive. So it just gives it a nice little piece of 3D effect. Okay, so we've done our little front cover of our wedding invitation. Now we're going to work on the inside. So what we want to do, or for this little invitation, I think it's a great idea to incorporate black and white photography. Anybody who knows me knows that I love black and white photography, and so this one's a shot, or you can use anything of the bride and groom to be. This one's showing their wedding rings that they're about to use. So I'm just using some little vintage photo corners. So just get your, choose a black and white photo that you'd wish to put in your invitation, and then get a whole stack of them printed, or the amount that you need, at your local photo lab. and then they're ready to go. Just adds a nice little personal touch to your wedding invitations, makes them a little bit different to everybody else's. And that's what we're all looking for, a bit of individuality in your wedding. So I'm just now using a bit of double-sided tape just to stick this in. Now the photo corners also just add that nice little, you know, retro vintage feel as well, which is fun. So just peel that off, and now you can see that's our little top flap of our invitation, and pressing that down there, and we have our photo up the top. Now obviously you do need to do the ribbon and for the front first, because that actually goes underneath the photo. So now all we need to do is add all of the information for the wedding. So what we're using to do that is some pearlescent paper. So Darkroom Door pearlescent papers are A4 in size. They come in a wide range of different colours. We're using the white roses paper. Now this is all laser compatible for your printers, so you can just print all of the information straight through your printer onto these papers, and then they're ready to go. So this is what it looks like, all of the information printed on an A4 sheet. I've done 4 lots of our information, so you can fit 4 invitations onto this one sheet. So just attaching these little photo corners. Now the photo corners are sold in, you know, large packs of quantities, so I'm sure you'll have enough for what you need. Then just a bit of double-sided tape. Peel that off, and then we're ready to put that inside our wedding invitation. So then all we need to do now is stick that in down the bottom, and then we're done. So here's our finished invite. I hope you enjoyed that project. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.